first episode, we did, do stuff around GenAI. Let's see who's funnier, either you or AI. So why did the company reject the PM candidate who had a background in gardening?
I'm trying to think. You said funny.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think along that line.
Although I did love the answer was given by AI.
I have another one. How many product managers will it take in a job interview to turn on a light bulb and then change it?
Why do you want to change light bulb?
Always ask clarifying questions.
It's the beginning of the financial year and the product manager brings a ladder into the meeting. Why?
Related to roadmap?
For the audience, we are not lame. Always a lot of good content as well.
Okay, that was
Nice.
difficult. Yeah, it's actually deep.
That's deep, right?
Yeah.
It's true though.
It's true though.
Hello everyone. Welcome to NextGen Talks by Intuit, the show that takes you behind the scenes of how awesome products are built, discusses career growth, and a ton of fun conversations. We'll also be discussing sharing secrets, unraveling a lot of things behind the scenes about successful people, products, and processes. So whether you're like an engineer, a product manager, a designer, or anyone who's just interested to learn more about how awesome products are built, wants to excel in their role or just listen into some fun conversations, this is the right place to be in. So without any further ado, let's dive right into today's topic of discussion. So this is something that has been typically blossoming, the past few years, especially in India, where folks have been transitioning directly from undergrad into product management. So that's something that we will be discussing today. So I'm Ashwit. I'm a product manager at Intuit.
I'm Partha. I'm a product manager at Intuit.
Cool. So we have Abhay and Ninad here. And before they formally introduce themselves, we typically kind of embarrass our guests at the beginning of our episode by giving them informal introductions. So last time around we did alliterations for Devanshi and Shankar. This time we have like a fun poem. Hopefully that kind of sets the expectations and hypes both of you up.
Did you make this up?
I did not make this up, but I curated it from multiple sources. Mostly AI driven. So
That's a chat GPT.
yeah, just a very
Yes, we are
complex way of
into
saying
AI.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
definitely right. So let's get on with it. So two guests on the show today, Abhay and Ninad. Let's hear what they say. They'll share insights, stories, and wisdom so rare, guiding college grads with a friendly flair. They'll talk about their triumphs and woes. With tips and tricks, our knowledge will grow. So join us now, let's dive into their tale as we unravel the secrets, both funny and frail, from Abhay and Ninad with their product fairy tale. So yeah, that's for both of you.
Awesome. AI is going good. It's on the right path.
They got to
For
share
sure.
their product fairy tale and let's see how it goes.
Cool. Would you like to introduce yourselves in a proper way?
Yeah.
Sure. So here
I'm a little hurt.
we do that. No, the poem, by the way, poem is really great.
Yeah, it was good.
So, hey everyone, hi, I am Abhay Sharma. I'm a product manager at QuickBooks desktop payroll team.
Mhm.
I'm overtaking that product, that product of feature now. From my education, I'm a mechanical engineer. I graduated from
Oh,
BITS
wow.
Pilani last year.
Okay.
So it's been a year, working in Intuit. I just joined Intuit after my college. And thanks a lot for inviting us to this session.
And I think my journey is very similar to Abhay's. So I'm Ninad. I graduated from BITS Pilani Goa campus last year and I did electronics engineering. And presently I'm working as a rotational product manager in the QuickBooks desktop team and now transitioning into the DTM team.
DTM is?
DTM is digital migration. So it's
Okay.
an organizational role and a new team that has been set up. So I'll be transitioning into that team now. It's been a great journey so far.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks
Awesome.
again for
Electronics, mechanical, you are?
CS.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I'm from CS. Even I'm from electronics. Cool. But great. You mentioned you both are from BITS Pilani. So could you take us back a few years and then share your stories, how you began? Was it in the COVID period, I would assume? Anything on that sorts? Would you like to share?
So before we go, I really miss college, man. It's been a year now, and I desperately want to go back to Goa.
Yeah.
And visit college.
Your college being
Goa,
in
yeah.
Goa is like,
Yeah.
you definitely miss it
Yeah.
a ton.
But yeah, jokes aside, college was great. You mentioned COVID, so we had COVID in our second, third, and fourth year, but we got one semester on campus. So that was like a gift for us the last semester. But yeah, I think ACADS were I was an above average student, I would say. Like I
Okay.
got a decent GPA, but ACADS was not the defining experience for me in college. For me, it was majorly two things. One was the football team. We had a club there, BITS FC, and the second was the placement unit that I was part of in my final year.
Yeah.
I think these two experiences were the defining moments for me in college, and I learned a lot from both the organizations per se. So yeah, that was majorly my college experience.
Yeah, and as I want to say, like I really like college and want to go back, but I can't. I'm not sure whether I can take those, heat transfer classes or any of those mechanical subjects again. That is one thing. But yeah, definitely, man. College was really great, and I think like we missed most of our college, but we did most of our college through online. That is fun. Yeah. So I remember my college. Like there were different phases. Like in first year, definitely didn't do anything. So that was one phase. In second year, I started with mechanical courses. Did some internships there. I was
Yeah.
pretty much focused there. Like to go to mechanical. Then same like COVID happened.
Yeah.
And so I was very connected with the market behaviors of how market is changing.
Okay.
And I see like with COVID, most of the companies started hiring for analytics or even product managers, like APM rules and RPM rules came into market for engineering folks. So that was the time when I started preparing, or I did some research about what this role is all about.
Oh.
I find myself suitable, and that is when I transitioned into this role.
Wonderful. But okay, one thing which I wanted to ask, like, what was your first thought when you went into like the college your first day?
Mhm.
What was it in your mind that you thought that okay, ye to banunga, or this is what I want to become, in terms of a role or a company, want to do your masters abroad, which typically a lot of other folks might be doing in your circle. What was it for both of you?
I think for me, so I came into college having done basic coding for like 4 years.
Okay.
In my 9th, 10th grade and 11th, 12th. So it
Mm.
was not like web development per se, but basic BlueJ, if you know,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
Java student kind of version of it. But so yeah, that is what I had done, and I was convinced that I didn't want to code in the future.
Okay.
Not because I really liked it, to be fair, but the issue was as a career, when I was thinking about it and talking to my parents and
Mhm.
stuff, I figured I wanted to be closer to people, and that is why essentially I kind of discredited it. And I came into college thinking I definitely want to go into management.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
it was, pardon me?
I never had this kind of sorted mind when I was
No,
in
but
college.
yeah, exactly. So it was a very I don't even know if there was proper rationale behind it, but
Oh, okay.
it was always about people. I was involved in teams right since
Nice.
school, and probably my parents influenced me in a way
Hmm.
because they said this could probably suit you. So I came into college thinking I'd do an MBA for sure after college.
Oh, okay.
So in fact, I wasn't even looking for or thinking about okay, this is my dream job or stuff like that
Okay.
in the first few years. But then yeah, so that was it initially. I think I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly, but it was definitely something related to management for me.
Nice.
Didn't know we have a topper between us. Like you did coding for 4 years before college.
You had a head start.
Yeah, that's what. I was like, why am I in this college in my day first?
Yeah, but yeah. So when I started college, like MBA was definitely somewhere in back of my mind. Not I wanted to do a job for few years
Okay.
after college. That is for sure. But I believe like Bits did something really great in that sense. Why? Because when you join Bits, it's not only about engineering. So in my first year, I remember like there was a huge scope, or people were talking about finance. There were financial management groups, stock market, and all those clubs were growing. So that is somewhere like I realized, I should be part of that. So apart from mechanical, that was something where I spent my time into from academic perspective, and that actually grew me into management kind of management kind of roles.
And that's actually a great point. So I was talking to the hiring manager who decided to recruit from BITS Goa, and actually for the RPM roles in our year, BITS Goa was
Again, what is RPM for the audience?
Oh yeah, so we are RPMs, which is essentially rotational product managers. So it's a 2-year program typically with 1 year, 6 month, and 6 month rotation. So there are 3 rotations in total.
Okay.
And you switch from team to team. Could be from product to product as well. So that is essentially the RPM program, which is designed for you to transition into a PM role, because right out of college you're not really ready to be a product manager. So
Okay.
it's kind of a transition phase. But yeah, going back to the story, so the hiring manager, he who decided to recruit from BITS Goa. BITS Goa was the only college that they recruited from.
Yeah.
And in fact, a few days ago, I asked him why was BITS Goa chosen, and he mentioned this. So there is great. So there was a list of colleges that they wanted to go to, and their hiring cycles were in line with BITS Pilani's hiring cycles, university.
Yeah.
But then I asked why Goa campus, and what he said was the startup mindset in your college, on your campus, is very high. There are a lot of startups which have come up. I think Postman to
Yes.
name one. So that is why they decided to come to BITS Goa, because they thought the students might already know how to build products, and
Oh, that's great.
that is a great story, and it was remarkable that
Yeah.
that is the reason why.
That's a great perspective that you brought in. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess you guys, it's amazing to hear, the clarity you guys had getting into college, and you had like this charter that I'm going to do this after 4 years and all of that. I remember when I was in college, I was like, okay, I'll complete 4 years, get a good job, and take it by the year. I didn't have like a 4-year, 5-year vision.
Yes.
So I think that's really nice to know about. And I think my next question is kind of a siphoning of what you said about RPM, APM. So was this the first time you folks actually heard about product management, or was there a different time when you actually heard and figured out, PM or product management is actually a career path? And what really attracted both of you to it? And given the fact that you did have a CS background coming in from school, and you have a completely different background, which is mechanical, and PM mostly comes into the tech space. So how did you guys essentially end up?
I think it's a bit different, even though I was
Yeah.
coming from that background.
Yeah.
The story is a bit different. Probably you can go first.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, like it was during COVID that market was growing up and product management as a role was coming into picture, right? I remember I was in my 3-2 or 4-1, starting my 4th year.
Okay.
That is when I figured out I have to step up towards some business roles. I was targeting analytics or towards that role. That is when I did like n number of internships. I did some internship as product operation.
Yeah.
Then I grew as a marketing strategist role. And when I really heard about product management, believe me, like I have gone through every course that LinkedIn has to offer for product management.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that actually, inculcated, like, first of all, it was a research, like what
Yeah.
product management actually is, because it was completely a new role. I've never seen my seniors going into product manager. There was financial role, there was consulting as such. So that was part of research. Then, because I've been part of different roles, and I work with product managers closely. So that motivated me towards, okay, this is a role that I think I can fit into, and that is what motivated me towards
Do
getting.
these courses actually work, and do they help you?
If you are completely new to that stream, definitely they can help. Like,
Okay.
I mean, some of them can definitely help. I can't say for all of them, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
and I think one thing you said was how you learned about PM. I think a fundamental thing is the way PMs are defined today is very fluid definition. Like nobody has this one
Exactly.
static thing that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think everyone has a very different perception towards what PM is.
And now it's like PM is the cool job. So
Yeah.
most of the
Yeah.
startups, what they started doing is brand a job as PM just to attract talent, but it might not be a proper
Correct.
job. And actually, Abhay's journey is very different to mine.
Yeah.
Even though being from a mechanical background, I think he has stayed close to PM since before he got the job. But mine was very different because going into 4th year, in my 3rd year actually. So my seniors who were preparing for placements, they were all interested in PM jobs or trying for PM jobs, and I was like, what is this PM? I don't understand why so many people are interested. And going into 4th year, I was looking at the BCGs of the world, the McKinseys. So it was all glamorous for me, and I wanted to break into consulting and be the next big hero. But that didn't work out for
Was
me.
it only the pay that attracted you? For that?
No, actually, it was the glamour, because
It's
like
they have
for-
a branding and a
yeah,
glamour
so
that
it's
follows.
like
Even in BTech colleges. Like,
yeah, it's very difficult to get, right? Especially in BTech and not MBA.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get because they hire like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
if there's something very difficult to achieve, you want to do that.
Yeah.
So that is exactly why I was interested in consulting, and I did a lot of consulting prep. And then what happened was, when Intuit opportunity came up, throughout my actually 4th year, when I was in the placement unit, when we were contacting companies, I got to know more about product roles, and that is when I learned what product roles are, and I realized that this is very allied to consulting, because essentially what you're doing is the same, breaking down problems, just the context is different. Over there is business, over here it's building products. So it was allied, and the prep that I was doing for consulting later helped me for PM. So actually, I've not done a lot of PM prep like he has done. But I watched a few videos, and there's PM school and exponent videos on YouTube. They're great. So that is how I learned the jargons and what the context is for PM. But if you talk about RCA, right, root cause analysis, that is exactly what consultants do. They get a business problem. So the preparation was pretty similar, but towards the end I just brushed up on the jargons, how PM is different, and that is how I prepped. So my journey was completely different to his.
Yeah, I think it's a great point you bring up, the parallels between consulting and PM, because I've seen people move across these functions and they're able to highly function in both because there are like a lot of similarities.
Yeah, this is the kind of preparation I did in my MBA college.
Yeah.
Because then you would have like business roles as well as product roles, because you'll have folks in India coming from like different tech backgrounds. So I was one of them. Like started with tech and then wanted to expand my wings into business streams as well. But then thought product management might be the best fit for me. And yeah, kind of a similar preparation. But yeah, our preparation was more non-linear, and we had to do multiple different things: supply chain, marketing, consulting, and PM. Thank God, like I converted in the very first get-go and did not have to do that for a very long time. But cool.
So you interned at Intuit, right?
Yes, I interned. So it was like a couple of months of internship which they take from different business schools, and Intuit comes to SPGen usually. And after that you get either a pre-placement offer or you do not. So luckily I got one and was fortunate enough to like come back after the next year and then continue as a PM for the enterprise product.
Great. Just one more thing. So I was reading somewhere like, okay, there are two school of thoughts, that comes into picture. One says that you can prepare for product management. Second is that product management or solving in general, problem solving is not something that you can learn from courses, from books or anything.
Absolutely.
It's something that you have to develop on your own. No one can inculcate in you, right? Wanted to know like your thoughts on that. Which school of thought you come from?
I think I come from the first, because I was brainwashed into thinking it's the second. But if I look at myself, I didn't even know what PM is or what building products was till I got into my fourth year when I also interned at a early stage fintech startup. That is when I learned how products are built. So till that point, I didn't even know what PM was. So I think it's a coachable skill. But having said that, you also need to have certain basic things in yourself to learn that. For example, I think for being a PM, you need a very high emotional quotient, because
that's true.
Product management for me is more about managing emotions.
Empathy.
I came into the job thinking, okay, I need to know how the backend works, how system design works. But more than that, I think it's about managing the emotions of all the people involved and the cross-functional teams.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you said. It's kind of hybrid. Like it definitely can be coached. Like for example, when I got into PM and where I'm at now, I see that there has been growth in terms of, because of the mentorship I've received, coaching and all of that. So there's been like improvement in the PM crafter skills. But again, you need to have something that's innate. And apart from that, I think, as I mentioned, since PM is so fluid in terms of what it is, there are so many different perceptions. I think if you read like different books in terms of what people are doing as PMs, in terms of even if you read the Lean Startup or the Measure What Matters OKR, there are different parts of the craft which can be learned or you can improve upon. So I think it's hybrid, and I don't think there's like one answer that could actually answer that question.
Yep, absolutely. Plus one on that, nothing more to add. Again, similarly, it is something which can be coachable because you know that there are tons of different resources now on the internet that you as an aspirant for a PM role totally works. You can have that in you so that you can go and try the first stage. And I would say, do not just like fall into the buzz of product management. If you really feel like you want to try this out, try it for like a few months, do internships, do multiple internships in different kind of businesses, and then see if it fits for you. I did the same, and I think it fit me, and that's why I thought of like converting and getting into the product manager role. And I think because it's a craft skill purely, the more you grow on the ladder, the more you realize that okay, I might think that, okay, this is what PM is all about, and then it again breaks you, and then you are like, oh no, there's a lot more things to learn. It's that curve which you would have seen in your textbooks or internet. But yeah, I think that is how it will unfold for all of us. I think we're all young here.
Yeah.
So can't be commenting like what happens
Absolutely.
like 3 or 4 years. And now with so much tech and business shifts happening around, I think PM role is in itself going to shape up very well and go broader from here.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, like so there are parts to it, I guess. Something you mentioned, that lean startup. So lean startup or methodologies are something that you can learn by reading, right?
Yeah.
But again, there's a second part to it, which is customer obsession, which you can't develop by just learning. It has to come from inside. Like, when you're looking at an app, you should be able to think it from customer perspective.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because we had like a senior vice president of product visit the India site a few months ago, and I had a one-on-one with him, and I spoke to him and I asked him, as a PM, you've been a PM for a long time, and you're like the SVP of product, you're leading a lot of things. So what is that one thing that you would advise any PM, how do they grow? How do you become an amazing PM?
Yeah.
The one thing he said was, you need to have product sense, right? Some of them have it innate, some of them need to build it out, but if you have that, you're going to be an amazing PM. So I think that's one of the most core skills. And I think not something that he said, but in general, the most surprising part of being a PM, something that attributed to what you said, is people management. Like, although you people don't necessarily report to you as, especially as an early PM. How do you influence them to make sure that they're aligned with what you want to do? I think that's a challenge, and that's something that's also interesting too.
Yeah. And people management is something no one can teach you. Right?
Yeah.
You have to be in center. You have to manage people.
Yeah.
I think being in those situations only grooms you more.
Yeah, it's a lot dependent on the experience and the way you get into the thick of things, which teaches you product management. And just like theory and reading books would not help you. It might get you the interview round across, but after that, it's all about how do you perform in that role.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we've had some awesome discussions, but let's transition into a fun segment of sorts. So me and Partha were just discussing this yesterday.
Yes.
And let's do something fun with these guys who are coming on the podcast, right? So I think this section or this fun segment is essentially called, Riddle Me Not, a generative AI edition. I know everyone's like into GenAI and stuff, and a lot of our content, like even the first episode, we did, do stuff around GenAI. So, what this whole segment is about, some riddles about product management and some stereotypes about PMs that, GenAI has created riddles out of. And we'll ask them, and we would like to know what your answer to those questions are. And then we'll tell you what AI thinks about it. So, we have 4 questions.
This is lovely.
Yeah, let's do.
I think we'll get embarrassed.
Let's see who's funnier, either you or AI. So, anyway, so I think so there's the first one. So, why did the company reject the PM candidate who had a background in gardening? I know it's a strange question, but it's a riddle after all.
Or product management.
Yeah.
I need to think what a gardener uses.
This is how the PMs have started going to the root cause of the question.
Maybe a gardener is someone responsible for doing his work, and it's not managing out someone.
Interesting.
There's no problem solving in that. I mean, there is some sort of problem solving, but maybe company doesn't feel that.
What do you think, Nina?
I'm trying to think. You said funny, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to think along that line.
An absurd answer. Although I did love the answer that was given by AI. It's quite smart.
I'm just passing this round, I guess.
Yeah, so this is what it said. It might be lame, okay? So you don't have to necessarily laugh. So apparently they rejected the candidate because they were afraid he would focus too much on pruning the features and not enough on growing the product.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Okay, that was difficult.
It's
Yeah.
actually deep.
That's deep, right?
Yeah.
It's true though.
It's true though.
Cool. I have another one. How many product managers will it take in a job interview to turn on a light bulb and then change it?
Turn on light bulb and then change it?
Yeah.
Why do you want to change light bulb? If
This
it
is
doesn't-
what we want. You ask questions.
Always ask clarifying questions.
Waiting for answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a very simple question. How many product managers will it take?
By the way, these are like
Focus more
these are like very centric on PM stereotypes and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
that everyone talks about.
I think they just can't.
Maybe one to write a cheetah. I would say write a cheetah.
Wow.
to
Okay.
give out
I
requirements.
think
You know?
we'll just keep discussing about why we should do it or why we shouldn't.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely. This is what is happening right now. We should ideally have just one so that they actually can think about getting into the problem and the solution straight up instead of like discussing over
Yeah.
it and over engineering.
Just take the bulb, put it in, get another bulb, put it on. That's it.
But I cool. I think
Yeah.
AI had the same answer.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So the next one is, so why did the PM get lost on their way to the interview?
Interesting.
You got a good problem to solve one day.
Fair enough. Yeah, they probably got. I think that's a good one because you have so
Yeah.
many things to solve. You don't know how to
Maybe you got
prioritize.
a
You just go
startup
somewhere
idea
else.
on the way. So you figured out like that
So is
startup.
this Bangalore?
This is Bangalore. Right?
He got his big idea.
Big
that he
idea.
was looking for.
Interesting. That's a nice one.
Yeah, I'll pass on that.
So yeah, this is what AI thinks. So they were too busy figuring out how do they map out their customer journey. So that's the only map they had, not the map to the interview.
Oh, burn.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's the beginning of the financial year, and the product manager brings a ladder into the meeting. Why?
We should do this in real.
Yeah. Let's try this out.
No idea. Is it related to roadmap or something?
Oh, kind of there.
Getting there.
Probably if the devs say this is a very steep ask, then you give the ladder. Right? Just do it.
That's a good one too.
Nice.
That's a good one and a creative one. Yeah, AI says that okay, they wanted to see the high level strategy. With the ladder.
Okay.
I mean, these are quite clear, okay, sometimes, but it is what it is.
But it's fun experimenting with ChatGPT. The responses and
Yeah,
jokes that it
absolutely.
gives. It's lame at times, but
Yeah.
it's witty.
Yeah, but for the audience, we are not lame always. There's a lot of good content as well.
You emphasized on always. There is like significant lameness and stuff. But yeah, I think the next question is not a riddle, so it need not be funny or make it funny, whatever it is. But how did you essentially like prepare for the PM interview, like getting into the RPM space?
So I think I already covered this, but I'll just sum it up. So like I said, right, I was interested in consulting mainly, and I'd done a lot of prep for that, which translates to RCA, which is root cause analysis
Yes.
in PM prep. And after that, I think when the Intuit opportunity came up, I prepared the deck. I watched a few videos to understand how problem solving is done and how things are broken down. Prepared a deck, submitted it, got shortlisted. And after that is when my real preparation began. There were like 3-4 days before the interview. And that is when I watched all these videos on YouTube.
Okay.
And breaking down problems was something that I was used to because of consulting prep. But through those videos, I learned about the jargons and did a lot of case prep with a few folks who already had landed very good PM jobs.
Okay.
So actually, this is a very interesting story. So when the Intuit opportunity came up, the third wave of coronavirus was going on, if you remember. And I was in Goa with my fellow placement coordinators, and our placement season was going on. And we all three of us had COVID. I think we contracted from the New Year's party that we went to. And we were holed up in like a flat, which was my friend's. And those two had already landed PM jobs, and that was the perfect setting for me because we couldn't go out.
Okay.
And 3 days I was just telling them, chalo case karte. So I prepped during that time, but yeah, that was my journey.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll talk about a little bit, So what worked for me is if you want to prepare for product interviews, just get product interviews. Don't wait to master all the skills first.
Okay.
I mean, go through basics, definitely. Like watch maybe 5-10 videos on YouTube, but don't wait to master it at all.
Yeah.
Just go for interviews, and just a footnote there, interviews are not mock interviews with your friends. I mean, they can definitely work, but essentially, when you're in engineering college, people are on same pace.
Yeah.
They might know a little bit higher than you. So always try to have mock interviews with someone, at least a skip level to the position you are trying, or directly go with interviews. So I have a fun story, someone on LinkedIn just posted out that I'm willing to take interviews for free. And that was a director of product manager. And I just saw it, and without thinking twice, I just booked that slot of his. Now we were in that interview. He saw me, and he was like, "You are too young, man." What do you expect from me? And this was starting. I didn't know what product manager, all those things. So I just very politely I say, "Sir, if you can help me in preparing RCA,
Hmm.
root cause analysis interview. So, I mean, that whole session was really fun. It's good that he gave me some time.
Yeah.
Got some insights from that. So, that was the crunch. Don't wait, just go for interviews.
But having said that, one more point here is so you mentioned practicing with your friends, right? But it's still better than just reading the cases.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
what I
Yes.
see is
Yes.
most folks they're trapped into that whole thing. "Oh, I need to know everything, then I'll go
Yeah.
for the interview." And there's some inhibition before you actually
Yeah,
practice a mock interview with your friends. But there shouldn't be, because if it's with your friends and they are also on the same level, so there's no need for getting embarrassed. So you just go in and that is how you learn. And I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
in MBA colleges also you must be.
Yeah, we do both. Like we
Mhm.
have our own cohort, because
Mhm.
usually you'll have a group of people who are very passionate about the role, who will form like mini cohorts and will practice cases with the set that they already have. Usually you would have a lot of good business case study books by IIM Ahmedabad or Calcutta or SP Jain, so on as well. So they would practice them so that at least they become and be more confident about how to solve them, the structure basically.
Mhm.
And we have a series of alumni-led interviews, which
Yeah.
actually helps
Yeah.
them a lot to know that, okay, how does a PM who's working on some other company interview me? And because it's like a rotational basis and goes on for like months, it brushes them up, and this repetition itself helps them know that, okay, these are the nuances which I need to work on and improve. A lot of things you might be already knowing. Some of the things which you might not have realized might be liked by an interviewer at the end of the day, would be something which you would learn in those process. So I think, yeah, this is something which I also went through, and it helped me really a lot. And I think both of them has its own pros and cons.
Correct,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. I think you did mention a bit about the Intuit process, but could you let the audience also know what exactly is it, at least for the campus hiring prospect?
Yeah, so it starts with a deck. So you're basically given a problem statement that you need to solve for. It's essentially building a product uh, by for solving a problem, you build a product and create a marketplace. So I think so. Yeah, it starts with a deck round, and after that, it's a big one because at Intuit, I think the deck round is has a lot of weightage in the overall.
So this
process.
is like the craft round, right? You
Yeah,
got
this
to
is
this
the
is the
craft
craft
round,
round.
correct. So, and this has a lot of weightage, which is not like this is unique about Intuit because I've seen recruitment processes at other companies and they have a deck round and then many interviews. So the deck round is like a preliminary round to just cut down the number of people. But at Intuit, they take it very seriously.
Yeah.
And after that, we had one interview. So yeah, that was pretty much.
And what was the craft round more about? Like for me, I remember we had to submit the presentation properly in like some constraints of like slides in number, and also record a video of us presenting that particular slides, which we how we solve the problem, what is the structure which we are following, and how do we approach a solution with some kind of prototypes, so that people believe that, okay, we can have a design sense as well.
Yeah.
But was it similar for your
It
case?
is exactly
the same.
It was
Okay.
actually very detailed. Like companies don't ask generally, so we had to prepare a strategy, GTM strategy, marketing strategy.
Yes, correct. That was also
and
one of
after
them.
that, you have to prepare a video of that.
Correct.
In fact, I think the problem statement was the same.
Yeah, I think mine was slightly.
Yeah. Okay, now I
Yeah.
remember. Okay. Got it.
But there is a
Yes,
unique thing in Intuit process which I never heard of in any other company. So other companies usually have case study rounds or interviews based on just improve that product or RCA or anything like that. Intuit gives you a very different altogether scenarios. I wouldn't say that is difficult than the prior one, but it's a difficult scenario. It's a different scenario. They'll just ask you, something like manage COVID in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be
Manage
very
flood
broad.
situation
That's
in
true.
Delhi.
Yeah.
That's altogether a different problem. I mean, you don't really have to build a product for that
Yeah, actually.
if you feel, and
So it's not targeted.
it's not targeted. Yeah,
It's
it's
broad problem.
more focused on your problem solving skills, problem identification, breaking down, and then solving skills.
Correct. One thing I observed here, at least from my perspective, is that it tests very well which candidate actually goes and does the primary research very well. You will know that, okay, this guy has done it or this girl has done it properly versus the other one who's not that deep into the problem. Because usually at a service level, you will find some common problems which everyone might know already about.
Yeah.
But when you go interview like 10 different people, you will find some insights and things which might be the root of that entire big problem statement to narrow it down and then solve it properly. So I think that does help in from the assessor's perspective as well, and then like have the interviews like you said.
Yeah.
You had one point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The issue with that is you won't find Intuit's question anywhere on internet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Sorry.
Yes, no problem. So in your craft, it's curious, right? Did you guys have to make that whole deck, create a video and submit, or did you have like a panel and then go present to them? How did it work out for you?
So we just had to submit the deck and
Okay.
the video, and I went into the interview thinking we'll be talking about that, but we didn't. It was a completely new case
Yeah.
that was given to me, and then there were some behavioral questions at the end.
Yeah.
So that was my interview. It went on for 45 minutes to 1 hour, and I think it was very friendly.
Yeah.
I felt really comfortable. I didn't even understand how the 1 hour went past. So yeah, I think that was my experience.
In my case study was slightly different, where they gave again open-ended problem, super open to interpretation, so you can go bonkers with it. And then we had to create this deck again, start from all the way from problem statement till how we solve metrics, go to market, everything, mocks and all of that. But this was an in-person thing, so you actually had to present it to a panel of engineering manager, 2 PMs, and then there was and also a staff software engineer, so a dev, a manager, as well as two, as I mentioned, 2 other PMs. So everyone has different questions coming in, different perspectives. So you'll actually have a really nice discussion. Like, if you forget that it's an interview, right? You'll really have a nice discussion.
This is a software engineering interview.
No, this was for PM.
Oh, the one
The
where
A4A,
you transition to PM.
Yeah,
Oh,
correct.
okay.
Can
Nice,
you
nice.
talk a bit more about how you transitioned from software
Would like to know.
And
Yeah, sure.
previous question,
Yeah.
I'm just a bit curious. How did your engineering manager react to your case study?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did he
for
say
sure.
like this is not possible?
I can answer both your questions, right? So
Than that.
yeah, so the first question I think was around how did I transition from being a software dev to a PM at Intuit. So there was this pilot program that opened up in May of 2022. It was called the Internal Rotation in Product Management, the IRPM program. They were just trying it out for the first time. So this was for folks who have been at Intuit for a while, like a few years, 2-3 years. And if they were interested in trying out the PM craft, you'd go sign up for that program, and you would get into a team that is willing to, take these folks who want to do this rotation, where you spend like 50% of your time doing PM stuff and 50% of your time doing your regular, whatever your role entails. And you basically have to kind of speak to your existing manager, and say that you're interested in getting into this.
Yeah.
So I spoke to my dev manager back then, and he was super supportive, right? Saying that, I can get into the program, which was great. And I also had like the PM in our team, so she started the program within our team, so I could enroll into the same team I was working with. So that's how I did the 6-month rotation, understood more about the PM craft. She mentored me, and I really understood the nuances of being a PM. And seeing it from the outside and being in the role is two very different things. And when I was in the role, I really understood what being a PM was. Post 6 months, that's when I realized that I should move into being a PM. That's when I did the interview called A4A at Intuit.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about the A4A process now. So we had the craft round, as mentioned, where they gave
A4A stands for
Assist for Awesome,
Yeah.
which is the interview process at Intuit, and it's quite unique, right, as you guys mentioned before. So this process, first round was the craft round, where they gave this open problem statement, which was actually in the QuickBooks space, which I actually don't work in. So that made me go and do a lot of primary research and also secondary research and all of that. So I understood more about the ecosystem. And then based off that, I created this deck, start all the way from problem statement, whom are we solving this for, what are the potential solutions, what are the drawbacks, then how do we go to market, and the entire end-to-end process fundamentally. And then we got to the panel where we had the engineering manager, we had a software developer, a staff software developer, and we had 2 other PMs, and then you just go through the entire case study. And before just presenting your case study, you also talk about one project that you have done as part of the rotation. So I got to actually tell them what I did, the success metrics, and what I learned out of it. So the craft round is interesting because they have very different perspectives to things about how things can be built. Some people talk about scale, some people talk about usability, some people talk about go-to-market, some people talk about metrics. So I think a lot of different perspectives. And to answer your question specifically, did the engineering manager say that you cannot build it? No. They were actually very in line with what was being presented, and they did tell me post the craft that it was a nice presentation and they kind of liked it, which was kind of reinforcing. So post the craft, there are a few more rounds that typically happen. So the second one, for me was to go and have a direct interview with the PMs itself. So the 2 PMs, and I was in the interview room, and then essentially it was on Zoom. And this was mostly about PM craft. They gave like hypothetical situations as a PM, how would you people manage and things like that, which was very interesting. And some of them were like, whoa, I never thought of this before. So that was pretty good. Then the next round was with the engineer, again a different interview, right? Where they talk about conflicts with engineers, how do you resolve problems and do all of that. And then the third round was with the engineering manager. You talk about, what is the role essentially about, what can you offer to the team, what are they expecting out of you. And then you try to have those conversations, which is amazing.
Nice.
So it's a very holistic interview because you're talking to so many different people. All of them give their own assessment of what you will add to the team. So that was essentially the process that I went
And
through.
also for you, I think this was in person, right? Because pre-COVID.
Yeah.
For us, it was all
Yeah.
online mostly.
Yeah.
The next question which I'm coming to is that you all did not have any internship stint after your interviews, right? It was your direct like full-time conversion, or how did it work for you?
Yeah, so
Very good.
our interview was on 9th January, I guess. So on 9th January, we got the offer, and then one of our semesters was left in college, so which is the 8th semester, and we went back to college. So our last semester was in college. We were doing courses. I think I had 3 courses.
Okay.
We used to be having a few courses. So then we graduated in August. We graduated in May, and then we joined Intuit. So the internship that we did in our final year for both of us was in the 7th semester.
Okay, understood. And how was your onboarding journey at Intuit? Like,
So I
did
joined
you get any special treatment?
I joined a bit early, I joined in June. RPM program starts normally in August. So there is, as such, like there is nothing different, but when you started, like it's similar. I got a project, I started working. But when actually the actual RPM program started, then we had some classes or, some interactive sessions with senior PMs where we can ask questions like, how to maximize our efforts, how to excel in this craft, PM craft, and all those things. So I guess those are some of the things that Intuit helped us with, in onboarding on PM.
I think they also have this buddy system, right? Which
correct,
really
correct.
helps out.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, so I joined in August when the RPMs typically join, and we had a lot of training sessions with senior PMs all over the world who were teaching us like what are PRDs, what are epics, stories, basic stuff like that. That helped us a lot. And apart from that, I think we also had our 30, 60, 90-day plan, which is, I'm pretty sure you must be having it as well. And that helped a lot because that kind of helps you ease into the job and have a process in place for the first 90 or so days. And in terms of special treatment, I think when I look back, I think I did right. Because I was just out of college, so I was treated like a kid. But and with lesser responsibilities, I was shadowing other PMs, which is obviously essential because I didn't know anything when I came in. So I was working with other PMs, learning from them, and now in the last 6 months, I think it's transitioning more into having more responsibility. So
I would say it's much more of a supported growth that we have been through there.
Nice. So you folks have been in the PM role for about a year, right? You're going to complete a year. So how has it been so far, and what are your aspirations in the PM field? Like, what do you want to do further on?
So, it's been a great year till now, and I think there's still a lot to learn. In 1 year, you can't be a very established product manager, but aspirations. I would say so. I'm transitioning from one team to the other in a sense. So my work is changing a little bit. But with all the the tech shifts and the business shifts happening around the world, I think one thing I want to work on in the future, and I've been having conversations with my manager as well, is working more in the AI and GenAI space. Because there are two aspects to it. One, it is very exciting, and in Intuit we are very well placed for AI. We all know that. And the second thing is, it feels like if you don't adopt all these things, then in the future your employability kind of reduces. So if you think about it from a long-term perspective as well, things are going to transition into AI very soon. Businesses are going to be disrupted, so you also have to upskill. And now for our generation, I think that is very important compared to the previous generation, because things are moving so fast that you have to match that pace. So being in that space will help me both from short term because it's exciting and long term.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Embracing the change.
Yeah.
And you have to do that to be relevant in the job market, that's for sure.
Yeah, yes, same. What Ninad mentioned, like AI is something I also wanted to get into, and I guess like Intuit has those capabilities, and we have those programs running where people are actually working on AI and reaching AI, right? So those are one of some opportunity areas where I'm looking at. Uh, Other than that, there are some GTM go to market studies or 0 to 1 projects that I wanted to be part of.
Yeah, I think we have the last segment, which is just before we sign off. We have another fun segment. Partha will start
Yes.
off with that.
Okay. So we won't go deep into your personal space, but
No,
the
we
segment,
will. We will.
the segment is called "What's on Your phone."
Oh my god.
Okay. I'll start.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Can I know, or yep, I think I'll ask that straight up. What was your last message on Slack?
On Slack, can I check?
Yes.
These guys are gonna like skim through and find the safest one.
Oh no, I do remember. No, actually.
Yeah,
I do
what-
remember.
what-
So there is a burning issue at hand, and I've been asked to prioritize something
Okay.
over the other thing. So I have to go and meet a guy now and talk about it and get it resolved. So that was my last.
And this is from the engineering team.
Yeah. So I'll meet at 11 is the last message.
Okay.
Nice.
So for me, like there's a bug detected, so I was asking engineering manager like, what are the updates on that?
Yeah, this is how product management and
Yeah.
product
PMs
development.
being PMs.
always-
Yeah. What was the last WhatsApp message you guys sent? I guess it won't be about PM. Please don't tell me it was about
Yes.
work.
No, it wasn't about work. It was actually to my parents. So
Okay.
I texted them saying that I'm going to be on
Oh.
the podcast. So and they were like, "Oh, well done. Let us know when the video is out."
Oh, awesome.
No. Yeah.
Mine is to my friends. I've taken my key. Don't keep it with the.
Okay.
So your flatmates.
Yeah.
That's such a real problem.
Yeah.
In Bangalore.
Okay. Another one. Can we know what was your last photo in your phone
Gallery.
gallery?
So the one we clicked.
Yes.
Yeah, the last one.
Oh yeah, I know this. So when I was having breakfast in office, there's a new coffee machine on first floor. Aromas of.
Oh yeah, it's the fancy wooden one,
It's
right?
fancy one.
So
Oh,
okay.
because it was fancy, it went on my Snap streak. So that was the last photo I
Yeah.
clicked.
Mine was actually so I completed 1 year just now, so I got a good hamper from my manager. So
Yes.
that was
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I think you are about to.
No, I didn't finish the year yet. It'll be
Yeah.
on 31st July, but I still got the hamper.
Congratulations on the hamper.
Okay, I will have to go talk to a manager.
The pattern was both the pictures are Intuit related.
Oh, yeah.
There are fancy stuff around here. So your last question is, what have you guys last web searched for on your browser?
I
What did you?
think it's definitely Manchester United
Oh, yeah.
because I keep checking when is
Check
the
for it,
Onana
like-
deal.
Oh, you're looking for new signings.
Yeah, transfer market season is on.
I thought it would be like, how do I resolve conflict with a dev I'm meeting right away?
Yeah, there was. So I had a cold last night, so I was searching for that, how to cure that. And
Oh,
wow.
That was my last search.
Gotcha.
Cool. I think we are towards the end, and it was lovely interacting with you and
Absolutely.
being so
Likewise.
casual and so candid with all the answers. Thanks for like providing so much of insight, and I'm pretty sure our audience who's looking out
Yeah.
to be like PM aspirants in the market and know that okay, I do not have to do multiple different courses or MBAs and everything in the world to get land into this particular product management role. I think they have some like more clarity, at least if we could provide that. And yeah, I think one thing which we would want from you all is that you watch and share it in your friend circle to your parents as well. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. If you have any questions for Ninad, Abhay, Ashwit, or me, do drop them in the comments, or we're always there on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
guys.
for having us. Thank you.
Yeah.